Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, all my lovely students and my YouTube viewer. I'm Eva Nikmatul Robianti from IAIN Madura. Today's topic will be about young learners classroom management and classroom atmosphere. Before we go further to our topic today, let's pray to Allah so that our discussion today can give us a lot of benefit and Allah always give His blessing to us. Amin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi sidni ilman warzuqni fahman waj'alni minas solihin. Last week, when we discussed about the effective English teacher for young learners, I gave you an assignment at the end. At that time, I asked you to make a video of yourself explaining the definitions of effective English teacher for young learners. Here are some of your friends' video.
But here I have my own requirement or characteristic about an effective English teacher to young learner. For the first is having good English skill. Of course, it is an obligation to the teacher who teach English language. The teacher can use a simple or short sentences to the student because the student come from a different background in their life. Of course, the teacher must have language class or teacher talk. The teacher talk as like, "Hello, my students. Good morning. How are you?" It can be easier to be understood by the student.
In my honest opinion, I want to be a responsible teacher that teach the student credibly, organized, flexible, and knowledgeable, of course. Responsible means having an obligation to do something. With being a responsible teacher, I am sure that the process of learning can run well because the teacher delivers the lesson well and the students also get the lesson well. With being responsibility, the teacher will not careless from their job and they always do the best for their students.
And the fourth is speaking clearly and brightly. And the last is moving around the classroom during the lesson.
Increase student achievement for all students by providing research, interaction field with technology integration. And effective teaching can be defined in many ways, including teacher behavior like warmth, civility, clarity, and teacher knowledge of subject matter of students. Teachers
The classroom management will not only difficult for a new teacher. An experienced teacher who have years of experience teaching a classroom sometimes will meet difficult situations in the classroom because this classroom management skill cannot only learn through a books. We cannot only read the theory, but we need to learn from an experienced teacher. In these courses, I would like to share with you some experience, some tips and tricks from experienced teacher dealing with their classroom management. Hopefully, the tips and tricks that we are going to share with you here in this video can inspire your teaching in the future so you can manage the classroom and the classroom management will not become a big issue for you as a teacher of young learners because we know that uh, the characteristic of young learners is they are spontaneous, interactive, full of energy, have a short concentration span, which is that may become big problems when they come together in a classroom. So the topic in today's meeting is the definitions of classroom management and classroom atmosphere, the tips and tricks to have a success classroom management, where actually these two topics cannot be discussed in a meeting. We need years to talk about it, but let's try to discuss about the classroom management, the tips and tricks within meetings. Previously, when you are in elementary school or junior high school or maybe in kindergartens, do you have an experience of very much like your teacher because of they are humorous, they are smart, they look beautiful, they look handsome, they look well prepared, or maybe you do not like your teacher because he or she easily get mad, um, unprepared, or maybe smells not good or looks not good. Okay, would you please pause the video and write down in the comment box um, your experience of your elementary school and junior high school or maybe kindergarten school life where you really like a teacher or you really hate a teacher because of something. Tell us why you like that teacher or why you don't like that teacher dealing with their performance in the classroom during the teaching. Okay, our classroom is a mini society. Why I say so? Because the classroom consists of different students, come from different social background, different economic status, different educations, different family who has different educations, different habit, different culture, maybe even different language. They come together in our classroom, interacting each other. Of course, we need to do something to make these students get ready to the classroom activities. That's what we are going to talk in the classroom management. We are going to be the manager of our classroom. So what is the classroom management? The classroom management is a process of ensuring that the classroom lessons run smoothly despite disruptive behavior by students, or in short, it is a prevention of disruptive behavior. If in the classroom management we talk more about the interactions between the teacher and the students dealing with the students' behavior and the teacher performance in the classroom to make the teaching and learning process running more smoothly, uh, avoiding the disruptive behavior from the students. In the classroom atmosphere, on the classroom environments, we also talk about the physical appearance or the physical qualities of the classroom. So how we put the pictures, the posters, hanging out or displaying the student work, uh, the seating arrangement, the uh, color choice, the decorations. So the classroom atmosphere is a combination of the social, the teacher and the students' interactions, and also the physical qualities that create the classroom experience. It includes classroom management procedure as well as the way the space is organized, furnished, and maintained. So actually, when we talk about the classroom atmosphere or the classroom environment, it is wider than talking about the classroom management itself. Previously, I asked you to remember the teacher that you like most and the teacher that you don't like most, and talking about the character that they may perform at that time. Now, I would like you to once again pause the video and then give the comments in the comment box. Uh, think about yourself. In the future, what kind of classroom manager do you want to be? Do you want to be a strict teacher? Or do you want to be a kind teacher? Or a teacher who has a sense of humor? Or a teacher who really interested in learners, try to find out anything about your students for the sake of the smooth of the teaching and learning process. And then do you want to be a patient teacher? You are a lenient teacher that do not easily to get mad. So which one do you want to be? Which classroom manager do you want to be? Write down in the comment box. Your honest answer on my previous questions will affect the way you manage your classroom in the future. If you see yourself as a strict teacher, then perhaps you will treat your students in a very disciplined way. You will not allow them to make any mistake. You will not allow them to submit their assignments late or not in a times. You will not allow them to come late or etc. While when you choose to be um, a humorous teacher, then maybe you will smile a lot. You will not easily to get mad, and you will choose to teach in a very fun way, letting the students to play a lot of games, uh, make a lot of joke or anything. So once again, how do you see yourself will affect the way you manage your classroom in the future. So think about yourself once again and try to know your own personality and be that kind of teacher. So be the teacher that is act as yourself. Do not force yourself to be someone else. For example, you are not humorous at all, but you try to make a joke, for example. I think your joke will not affect the students because that's not a good joke, for example. So just try to be yourself. You know the standard of how to be a good classroom manager, then try to adapt it with your personality because it will affect better than when you try to become someone else that it is not you at all. Jane Moon, the writer of Teaching English to Children, stated that at least we need to make the student feel having a sense of security in our classroom and also a sense of self-esteem and confidence in our classroom to make a positive classroom atmosphere. Because if there is a positive classroom atmosphere, then she believed that a positive teaching and learning process can be done. Why the students need to be secure? Because they will spend uh, most of their times in the classroom with you and with their friends. If they do not feel secure, uh, they feel treated, they feel alone, they feel in dangers, for example, because of you easily to get mad at them or their friends disturbing her or him, then he won't think about the assignments or the activities that she or he should be done, but she will think about how to make myself secure here, how to make myself safe here. Okay, next is about the self-esteem and confidence. Actually, it deals also with the feeling of security. If the students feel confidence and having a high self-esteem, um, they will do the assignments or the learning activities better, because they will think that I can do this. And you, as a teacher, must do that also. You have to help the students developing their confidence and self-esteem. How to do that? Many things. Uh, Maybe the simple way is by giving them encouragement or praising. For example, like giving automatic feedback like, oh, that's good, that's great, giving them thumbs up, or smiling at them, or listening to them when they are answering questions. Give them time to find out the answer. Do not easily move to other students if she seems cannot answer the questions. So a simple thing like that, it will make the students feel more confidence in facing you as a teacher. Um, yeah. All right. Here are the small part of the tips and trick for a success classroom management. Of course, this is only a, a very small amount of the many tips and tricks that you can find out there when you surf the internet or reading books. Okay, but I try to what is it, compile the best tricks from some expert dealing with a success classroom management. Some of them is you have to set the classroom rules and the classroom routines, and seating arrangement is also important. And then remembering your student's name, that is important, because when you call your student's name, they will have a feeling of, oh, he know me, I won't do bad things because my teacher know my name, something like that. Seems simple, but remembering your student names can help you to control the students' misbehavior. Believe me, try to remember your student names. If you have the same difficulties as me, I am very hard to remember names. You can ask your young learners to use name tag. You can do that for young learners. They can wear a name tag. And then, yeah, you have to make a clear talk, and you have to have a skill of drawing attentions. For example, if you want to draw attentions, you can clap your hands, or you can make like a classroom routine like, whenever I say hello, you have to say hi, or when I say hi, you have to say hello, something like that. That's a classroom routine to draw attentions. Go back again to teacher talk. um, you cannot talk in a very fast pace because you deals with young learners. Young learners is still having a low communications skill. Their communication skill is not as good as adults. So please mind the pace of your talk. Talk clearly, um, and simple. Do not use complicated vocabulary. Use simple. Help them understand by using gestures and expressions. And then use various students' work. If you learn about the multiple intelligence, you will realize that our students have different intelligence that will affect the way they learn. So use various student work. Do not ask your students to work always in groups. Ask them to work in pairs or individually, or you can ask them to collaborate with other persons, other students outside from their classroom or their classmate. And then time limits. This is important. Setting the time limit. You have to make them what is it? Respect the times. For example, if you think the assignment can be done in 10 minutes by your students, then give them 10 minutes. Remind them before the 5 minutes the time ended. And when the 10 minutes is come, you may tolerate them 1 or 2 minutes, but please not more than that, because the more you tolerate your students in doing the assignments, then they will not respect the time. In case there is a student who finished the assignments before the time, then you have to deal with it too, because they maybe can be problems, because I have done my assignment, I have nothing to do. Okay, I will disturb my friend and something like that. So you have to give an early finisher another work so that he won't disturb the others. And then you can use role play. Yeah, role play. Play a role. This is good because it will develop the students' confidence and self-esteem. So use role play in your classroom to make them busy. And then whole class feedback. We will talk about this further later on. Classroom routine is any routine activities done by the teacher in the classroom. This classroom routine is made for many reasons. Some of the teacher maybe start the lessons by asking the students to stand in a row, and they check their nails, they check their uniform, they ask the student to mention 5 new vocabulary before they come into the classroom, for example. It's up on the teacher. The classroom routines may differ from each student. The classroom routines may also deals with any disruptive behavior, for example. Even smiling to your students while greeting them, or the way you greet the students, can be the classroom routine itself. So the classroom routines here is any activities done by the teacher in a certain period, in a pattern. It can be daily, it can be weekly, it can be monthly, it can be every time whenever certain behavior appear. Like these two professional teacher, Dr. Juan Kangsin and Mr. I don't know his name, but he is from senior high school, teaching of senior high school. But you can also use his trick and her trick for your classroom routines. Please take a look, and may it can inspire you in the future to create your own classroom routines for the sake of your students' improvement.
Watch this teacher use a magic stone to encourage students to speak in English.
And this is a magic stone. Whenever you touch the stone, you only speak English. The only language you speak is English. So I'm going to give you the stone, and you're going to tell me what your favorite food is. Okay? My favorite food is, and then you pass the stone to a different person. Okay?
Yes.
My favorite food is lasagna.
My favorite food is rice with noodles.
Wow, wonderful.
My favorite food is lasagna.
Lasagna too?
My favorite food is pasta.
Your favorite food is pasta.
Here's where things get weird. I'm going to 100% recommend that you don't actually do anything I'm about to tell you that I do. If it fits your personality, if you've been teaching for long enough, maybe you can get away with some of these things. But maybe your school's a little bit more rigid. Maybe you will get in a lot of trouble for doing these things. None of this is dangerous. It's just extra silly, and it's the way that I get kids to do work sometimes when I need them to do work and they don't want to do work, or they're not doing it right, or they're not paying attention, or they fall asleep. And so here are a few of the things that I do that it even makes me nervous to tell you about that I do. 1, keep a small water pistol on my desk. It's always full of water. It's always cold water because you don't want kids getting squirted with warm water and then they have a pee-pee accident in your class.
I had an accident.
You had an accident? What does that mean?
Go! Fall asleep in my class, shoot you with the water pistol. Not paying attention when I'm talking, shoot you with the water pistol. Moving too slow, out of your seat, not on time, shoot you with the water pistol. You have to shoot only the right kids with the water pistol. The kid with anger management issues, don't shoot that kid with the water pistol. He's gonna end up throwing a book at your head. But someone you get along with, someone that you know their parents, someone that you connect with, you can get away with this.
I'm sorry.
Because it is, again, it's a shock to the kid's system. They never saw that coming because there's not a chance that anyone ever shot them with a water pistol in their lives, not in a school setting anyway. It snaps them out of it, and then the next time, all you gotta do is just show them the water pistol and they'll never do it again. It's awesome and it works for me all the time. It's also fun to just have in the hallway and you're like, we'll just like shoot it down the hallway a little bit and kids are like looking up at the ceiling wondering what's going on. Endlessly amusing and entertaining for the teachers.
Another tips that you can make it as a classroom routine is once in a while you can address differently to your students. If you only address them as good morning students, how are you today? Okay students. Alright, so students, so you always use the same word students without any other different address in each day. Maybe they will get bored and unmotivated. So once in a while, you can ask them to not ask them. You can address their names differently. For example, good morning, sunshine. Good morning, smart students. Good morning, marvelous. Good morning, my blessing students. Good afternoon, my dearest. Good afternoon, amazing kids, etc. You have your own creativity to address your students. Find the best address for your students. Have fun. Now we come to a discussions of the classroom rules. So as we previously discussed that that the young learners is actually know already that there are some rules in this world that they have to obey, but they sometimes do not know yet what are the rules. So we are, as a teacher, must introduce them with the rules so that they used to the rules and make that as a habit. In other words, it can by implementing the rules every day, hopefully they can improve their manner. You cannot always say it or tell them verbally the rules, but you can print them and then make it as a poster and place it in the wall where the student can easily see it. So whenever you want the students to follow the rules, you can point out the what is it, the poster, or even though you do if you do not remind them every day by seeing the poster, it automatically remind them. So here are some of the example of the poster that comes from the classroom rules. In setting the classroom rules, you can ask your students to. You can make a contract with the students, what are the rules and then the consequences whenever they break the rules. So in this way, it is not, the rule is not from you, but it is as a result of an agreement. When it is an agreement, then the students have a responsibility to follow the rules. Okay, so make sure also that the rules is general enough so that you won't write down 100 rules in your wall. So making the rules general but covered some details rules. For example, when you ask them, when the classroom rule is safe, for example, be safe. So when you want them to be safe, then you it deals with, for example, like do not jumping from high place, do not use sharp tools carelessly, and something else. So several time ago, I talked about the classroom atmosphere. It deals with the classroom decorations. So you can make the classroom decorations beautiful, but that decorations consist of classroom rules or classroom routines, like the poster of good manners and voice level. Here you can see, you can use the voice level poster. uh, so you can place like a clipper in the number, so whenever you want the students to be quiet, you can place a clipper in number 0. So means that the classroom cannot make any voice, they have to keep silent and do their assignment. When you come to a games where they can make any loud voice, you can place the clipper at number 4. It means that the classroom can make a loud voice, as loud as lion. This picture is only an example of what is it, the decorations that come from the classroom rules, that you may place in the classroom. If you later in the future have your own classroom, you may freely create your own poster, make the rules appropriate with your students conditions, whether they are really young learners or elementary school students. So be freely in creating rules, but don't forget to ask your students agreements, because they that have to do the consequences. So they have to know what are the rules and what are the consequences. Something like learning contract, we also have that the way. Can you see that cute little sad turtle? The teacher who create this call it as quiet turtle. So it will be given to the students who maybe make a chaos or make a noise whenever the classroom need to be silent. So give it to the students, and because it is already a rules at the beginning, you have to tell them this dolls is a symbol of quiet. So whenever I give you this, you have to be quiet and do the assignment. So that's the rule. So whenever the student receives this, automatically means that he has to be silent. The teacher do not want you to make any voice because you will disturb the others. So you can use any other tools. You can use any other dolls. And on the left side, there is like a poster with a clipper there. So you can write down your student's name on the wood clipper and place that names on the faces that indicate their behavior at that time. See, there are many clipper in the smiley means that the students are well behaved. If it's and one student is in the surprise, or if we can say unpleasant behavior, you can also do that. Give your students names on the wood clipper. Giving a direct feedback to your student is very important, but you have to be careful in giving a direct feedback because it will lead you to criticizing. For example, criticism is maybe good if you do this in a proper amount, but if you criticize the students too much, it will lessen their motivation, and that is not good. So mind the way you give feedback to your students. Praise them, motivate them, do not criticize them in a too much portions. Okay, finally, please take a look this list of behavior and consider which one, which of the behavior, which one of the behavior list here uh, take your attention more. If you give your attentions more on the positive behavior, then you will be a positive classroom manager in the future. You will see your students as students that need your guidance in a positive way. You maybe will become a kind and loving classroom manager, but on the vice versa, if you see your students in what is it in the negative behavior, then you will tend to be a negative classroom manager that will treat your students in a negative way. You uh, you maybe become a very strict, intolerant, and easily to get mad classroom manager. So which one is you? Yeah, find out in yourself. As I said, be yourself. Find out yourself. Know the characteristic of a good classroom manager, then adapt it with your own personality. That's why people say that classroom is an art. Different persons will give different way of teaching. Now we come to our last slide. In this last slide, I would like to give my own resume of the classroom management and the classroom atmosphere discussion today. So, and in my opinion, if you want to be able to manage the classroom well, number one is please be cool. Do not easily to get angry. In case you seem cannot control yourself, please do not yell out your students, because once you yell out in your students, you will lose your credibility. If you need to act seriously to your students to make sure that, hey, I don't like your behavior, would you please behave? You cannot yell, but give a serious expressions. Use a flat tone and tell them what do you want them to do. Do not yell. Keep silent. Low your voice, and maybe they will hopefully they will aware that you do not like their behavior and you want them to stop. Or you can use your attention grabber, like making like knocking on the whiteboard or clapping your hands, etc. But please do not yell. Be consistent. If you set the classroom rules, be consistent on that. For example, you allow a latecomer not more than 15 minutes, for example. Do that. Even though it's quite hard for a lenient teacher, but it is advisable to do that. Be consistent on the rules that you create with the students. Do not be subjective, but be more objective. Do not do not treat the students differently. Be fair, and then be confident on yourself. Be confident on your appearance. Be confident on the materials, and be confident on your performance. How to be confident? Of course, you have to be well prepared. Prepare everything, plan everything so that it can help you to be a more confident teacher. If you are confident, then your students will respect you because they see, oh, he is a very well prepared person. Oh, he is so smart. But if you do not plan anything before you come to the classroom, you will seen as a confused and unprepared teacher, and your students will not listen to you. Next is you have to have a high expectations on the students and their learning. So never underestimate your students. Help them to achieve their best achievement. Do your best. Next is a sense of humor is important. Yeah, learn to have a sense of humor. I believe that it can be learned. Don't be too serious persons. Don't be too serious teacher. Have a sense of humor. And then, of course, this is the last, but it work for young learners and adult, for any students. Give your best and sincerely smile. Smile with your heart and show it with your eyes. All right, my lovely students, Alhamdulillah, we come to the end of our discussion today about the classroom management and the classroom atmosphere. Hope you can take the best of our discussion today. Please answer the questions in the comment box, and hope everything can give you and inspirations, and we can meet again next week in our next discussions about teaching the language components, grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation to young learners. Thank you. Stay safe and healthy. See you next week. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.